Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Justice Zainul Hussain, Chairman of the Integrity Commission. Tonight marks the culmination of a most inspiring series of debates which are convened by the Integrity Commission of Trinidad and Tobago. Battles of conviction and wit were fought between tertiary level students from institutions around the country. We call this debating competition Integrity Matters, not only because all of the topics or moods are directly related to ethical issues, but because the way in which each of us individually lives up to tenets of integrity matters very much. Tenets of integrity matters, which do matter indeed, if we wish to continue to live in a civilized society. I welcome Commissioners Mr. Rajiv Assad, Mr. Dirnarain Jagannath, Mr. Pete London, Mrs. Angela Younglai, and our Registrar, Ms. Jasmine Pascal. Our adjudicators, returning for a second year, Dr. Marjorie Thorpe, and Senior Counsel, Mr. Martin Daly, and Mr. Crystal Gift. They join the debaters in the hot seat tonight. Given the high standards of the previous presentations of Complete Technology Solution College of Business and Computer Science and the Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, I suspect that the adjudicators may have a very difficult task ahead of them this evening. The moderator of the debates is Mr. Jones P. Madeira. Mr. Madeira has been a journalist, broadcaster, and CARICOM advisor. He is currently editor-in-chief at Newsday. Tonight's finals will be contested between CTS College of Business and Computer Studies and the Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business. Other institutions that fought the good fight during the preliminaries and semifinals were Caribbean Nazarene College, COSTAT, Institute of Law and Academic Studies, University of the Southern Caribbean, University of Trinidad and Tobago. Some of the previous debaters are in the audience here tonight, and we thank them for their sportsmanship in coming to support the finalists in person. We welcome friends, family, well-wishers, and viewers behind the TV screen who understand that the greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively. This concept of integrity is universally accepted. Indeed, it was Bob Marley who said, "Open your eyes," I wish I could sing it, "look within, are you satisfied with the life you are living?" This is a question that is asked and analyzed over and over again in the Integrity Matters debates. Through the threshing floor of argument, the debaters' convictions are challenged and they are forced to rationalize them. We, the viewers, are made to examine whether we are satisfied either with the lives we are living or with the conduct that we choose as the conduct of those we choose as role models. Through Integrity Matters and our other initiatives aimed at young people, the Integrity Commission is helping to mold our society for the better in the wider community. For instance, last year's winners, COSTAT, were so fired up by their participation in our debates that in December, the team flew to Thessalonica in Greece to take part in the World Universities Debating Championship hosted by the University of Macedonia. One of the team, Ms. Megan Gomez, was actually asked to adjudicate. So I'd like to give her a round of applause. In March, the Trinidad and Tobago Transparency Institute asked the same winning team, COSTAT, to attend their anti-corruption conference and mask the corrupt governance integrity people to debate against Transparency youth members on the topic, be it resolved that the corrupt will remain masked because citizens allow it. The former COSTAT team debated for the motion and won resoundingly. At the end of this evening, although only one team will emerge victorious, many people will be winners. The best team will carry off the Integrity Matters Challenge Trophy and MacBook Pros. The second placed team will take away MacBook Airs, and all participants will receive a certificate of participation. In closing, I thank my fellow and previous commissioners for their belief in the importance of taking the message of personal integrity to all levels of the educational structure, and all those who have contributed and supported in any way. I thank you all for being here, and let the final debates begin. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second annual Integrity Matters Debates, convened by the Integrity Commission of Trinidad and Tobago. I am Jones Kumadera, and I am the moderator in what is the sixth and final round of Integrity Matters Tertiary Level Debates competition. A particularly warm welcome to the two teams who have not only stayed the course, but have surged ahead in the Integrity Commission's Integrity Debate, Tertiary Levels Debate Competition. They are CTS College of Business and Computer Science and Arthur Lord Jack Graduate School of Business. In the audience tonight, there are many vociferous supporters. I saw them coming in a few moments ago. And we thank you for showing up in person to cheer on your colleagues. We know there are many more watching right now at home. Good evening to you all on television. I'd like to acknowledge the adjudicators who have a very hard task in choosing the teams that go forward at each stage of the competition. They are Dr. Marjorie Thorpe, Mr. Martin Daly, Mr. Crystal Gift, and I'm sure you want to express some appreciation for the Just some notes, Dr. Thorpe is former ambassador to the United Nations and chairman of the Public Service Commission. Mr. Daly, senior counsel, is a former head of the Law Association, newspaper columnist, and a recently published author. Mr. Crystal Gift, senior counsel, is chairman of the Tobago Forum for Consensus on the Constitution. We appreciate their stamina in deliberating all the debates, and their robust adjudications have been a learning lesson to all the participants. We expect that tonight's final debate will be of an even higher standard as a result. I also wish to acknowledge the vigilance of the timekeepers, Denise Lambert-Granville and Anil Babilal of the Integrity Commission. I understand they have now had their call from Steve after the family feud because of what I've been having them doing in the preliminaries and the settings and the report again tonight. Now to the debate. The motion is, be it resolved that the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. Now, we've gone through this exercise before, but I repeat it for those who are here for the first time tonight. The speaking time for this debate is 7 to 8 minutes. The sound which guides the debates is a buzzer. A double buzz will sound at the start of the speaking time. Team members must wait for that double buzz before they start speaking. A double buzz will sound at the end of the speaking time to indicate that the presenter should stop. 1 minute into the presentation, the buzzer will sound once to indicate that points of information may be made. 1 minute before the end of the presentation, the buzzer will sound once to indicate that points of information can no longer be made. Points of information may not be made during the summations. The affirmative team seated at my right, CTS College, the negatives seated across the stage after Lockjack GSB. Everyone, please ensure that mobile phones are switched off. We don't want any supporters calling from home. So, I declare this debate open and call upon the first affirmative speaker, Corinne Bailey of CTS College.
Good evening, Mr. Moderator, honorable judges, members of the Integrity Commission, all the opponents, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. On behalf of CTS College, my colleague and I are pleased to defend the moot, be it resolved that the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. Let's begin by defining the key words in this motion. Values are principles or standards of behavior. Integrity is the quality of being honest and fair, or according to a benefactor's credo, doing the right thing always. And transparency means that it is easy for others to see what actions are being taken. These two values are likened to other values, such as trustworthiness, openness, accountability, respect, and confidence. And we know that in the absence of these values, corruption breeds. Sanctions exist to force compliance, to punish wrongdoers, and to deter others, and are a part of everyday life. But a crucial point that I need to bring to your attention is the presence of the word can in this motion. Can, meaning to be able to, meaning that it is possible. So let me be absolutely clear. What we, the affirmative, are here to prove is that the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained, that they are possible in the absence of effective sanctions. Now, within this very broad topic, I will be applying this motion specifically to the public sector within Trinidad and Tobago, while my colleague will be addressing the individualistic and the human aspect. The corruption perceptions index is the leading global indicator of the public sector, of public sector corruption. But whatever your personal opinion is about corruption within Trinidad and Tobago, we have much to appreciate. We don't have the conflicts and war, poor governance, weak institutions, and the lack of media independence that plagues other countries, other lower-rank countries, such as Libya, Venezuela, and North Korea. We, in fact, have the frameworks in place where the values of integrity and transparency can be maintained and achieved, and in fact can flourish in the absence of effective sanctions. So what are these frameworks? Let's discuss a few, namely our education framework, our public accountability framework, and our oversight framework. Ladies and gentlemen, at the recently concluded Youth Forum hosted by the Integrity Commission of Trinidad and Tobago, its keynote speaker, Dr. Roger Parenting, stressed that to achieve and maintain the values of integrity and transparency, it was absolutely essential that greater emphasis be placed on the education and engagement of the future generation. And we already use our robust education framework to teach our young people about the values of integrity and transparency because it's prominent in our national, primary, and secondary curriculum. Platforms such as this very debate facilitate the participation of the young and the not so young in the public engagement of integrity and transparency, influencing even my young daughter who admires the fact that I can courageously stand here and present to you and stand and defend what we know to be right. Our education framework provides an avenue where the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. Central to any discussion about the values of integrity and transparency is the promotion of public accountability. And chief to the attainment of public accountability is the ease and availability of information on government activities. The Parliament TV station and its website provide significant parliamentary coverage and provides an extensive amount of information to citizens in the promotion of an open government. Furthermore, our local media has raised its standard of investigative reporting to a level perceived to be unbiased and apolitical, while our NGOs, our civil society, works as an important ally in the preservation of integrity. Our accountability framework creates a culture where the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. But for any society to be successful at maintaining these values, there must be mechanisms in place which operate as a check on thinking or behavior. We have several monitoring and oversight bodies which act as the timely checkpoints and helps to positively reinforce transparency, like the Public Service Commission and the Judicial Committee, to name a few. For example, our Integrity Commission's chief function is to promote integrity and to regulate the conduct of public officers. Its role is to be the watchdog that assists public officers into becoming truly accountable professionals. Our oversight framework creates a climate where the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions.
Is it that there is no awareness or understanding in terms of the fact that Trinidad and Tobago as a country, we have a proliferation of legislation designed to sanction wrongdoing, such as the Proceeds of Crime Act, the Integrity and Public Rights Act,
To answer your question, we are aware that what we are here to debate tonight is not the present sanctions, but if in fact integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of sanctions. Let me please allow me to provide one piece of evidence. Denmark has consistently ranked number one in the Corruption Perceptions Index over the past 4 years. So let's benchmark ourselves against Denmark. What has been their secret formula? How are they getting it right? What are they doing that's different from us? Transparency International study of Denmark's national integrity system, published in 2012, revealed that the strength and effectiveness effectiveness of their system lay in the fact that individually the frameworks had, and I quote, a subsistence, a sufficient, if not an abundance of financial and human resources. But no system is perfect, and in identifying the weaknesses of their system, they made several recommendations. Let me enlighten you to what some of those were. 1. Compulsory registration of MPs, supplementary position and economic interest. 2. Revision of law and practice of access of information in the public sector. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you have these things in place? I thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Moderator, esteemed panel of adjudicators, members of the Integrity Commission, friends and well-wishers. A special good evening to our most worthy opponents. We refute the motion, be it resolved, that the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. I will begin by challenging this motion and fully exploring the concept of sanctions. I will then go into what we mean when we use the term effective sanctions. My esteemed colleague will then argue that countries with the highest values of integrity and transparency have attributed their success to the efficiency and the effectiveness of their sanctioning mechanisms. He will also argue that international conventions endorse the use of effective legal sanctions in their fight to promote integrity and transparency. And she will close by arguing that the breakdown in society and the prevalence of impunity makes it impossible to achieve and maintain the values of transparency and integrity in the absence of effective sanctions. Now, before I go further, I want to take the time to explain what we are and what we are not debating. We are not debating that a robust educational framework is integral to instilling values in persons. We are not debating the merits of awareness, socio-cultural initiatives, or incentives in instilling values. We acknowledge that these are critical tools in the stymieing of unethical conduct and corrupt practices. We are, however, adamant that by themselves, these tools are insufficient to grind to a halt the abuses on the public purse to which we have become accustomed. We are advocating that sanctions, effective sanctions, are critical to the conversation about achieving and maintaining the values of integrity and transparency. Now, when we speak about sanctions, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to be crystal clear about what we are speaking about. Sanctions include how we discipline members of society, from our little children in homes and in schools, all the way to how we discipline adults. When we speak about sanctions in the more legalistic sense of the word, sanctions do not only connote criminal sanctions such as imprisonment, fines, and community service orders, but it also applies to civil sanctions such as the award of damages or costs against a party. Sanctions may also include acts such as boycotting a product or a business because of the unethical conduct of the business or the business owner. Ladies and gentlemen, when we speak about effective sanctions, a few years ago there was a death penalty project, and that death penalty project was commissioned by the European Commission and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. And out of that project there was a publication entitled A Rare and Ordinary Fate. The authors of without too long a delay to take
The motion being debated tonight is that the values of integrity absence of sanctions. I think you were veering a little bit off track in defining what sanctions are, not the values of integrity.
Well, if I may have a moment to respond. The motion says, be it resolved that the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained of effective sanctions. No purpose in the motion. Denmark. In Trinidad and Tobago, what we have are ineffective sanctioning mechanisms. So much so that on one hand, we have the 2015 annual report of the Financial Intelligence Unit reporting that between the years 2011 to 2015, the total monetary value of suspicious transactions in this country was approximately $3.7 billion. On the other hand, what we have is an absence of prosecutions and an absence of convictions. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have laws on the books, but the sanctioning mechanisms in a country such as Trinidad and Tobago are ineffective. Let us now contrast those sanctioning mechanisms with a country such as Denmark, which ranks number 1 on the Corruption Perceptions Index 2015. And in particular, let us look at the Danish prison system, because according to the Barclays Center for Religion, Peace and World Affairs, the Danish prison system has as its core the theory of rehabilitation. It focuses on a root cause analysis of deviant behavior with the aim of reintegrating criminals back into society. Persons are sentenced to relatively short terms of imprisonment, and these persons are allowed to live in open prisons. They work a standard 37-hour Danish work week. They attend classes. Married couples are allowed to live together and even to live with their children if their children are under 3 years old. What has been the result of the Danish prison system? Exceedingly low rates of recidivism. In addition to which, countries such as Denmark, Sweden, and the Netherlands have been forced to close prisons because there are insufficient prisoners, and they directly relate that decision to the fact that the sanctioning mechanism has been effective. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I leave, let me just ask a question. Can values be taught? And if so, whose values are we teaching? We've recently seen the Panama Papers scandal. And we have seen that, for example, the chair of the Chilean chapter of Transparency International being forced to resign because his name was mentioned in the Panama Papers. And while many of us share some understanding of what is required for the promotion of the common good, because we as human beings are frail, because we subscribe to the notion of free will, it is necessary that effective sanctions are employed. So in conclusion, I simply wish to state, it could never be true that the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions.
Good evening, Mr. Moderator, distinguished judges, members of the Integrity Commission, worthy opponents, audience. A special thanks to my school, CTS College, and the Integrity Commission of Trinidad and Tobago for allowing us the opportunity to debate the motion. Be it resolved that the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not stand here
manipulated statistics to suggest that the values of integrity and transparency can only flourish with effective sanctions in place. Instead, I would let the very words integrity and transparency be the beacon by which I will guide you out of the confused darkness we have sought to trap you in. And I will demonstrate conclusively why values such as integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained even in the absence of effective sanctions. Make no mistake, we are not here to discuss whether sanctions are effective or not effective, but about whether the values of integrity and transparency can exist without them. My team has shown there exist frameworks within which we all operate in our personal and public lives. These frameworks provide the various checks, balances, and guiding principles which foster the achievement and the maintenance of the values of integrity and transparency. In fact, it is these same frameworks that give us ideas and instances where we fall short in these values. A classic example of this is the United Nations General Assembly in 2015, calling upon the Security Council to ensure that fair and clear procedures exist. Fair and clear, integrity and transparency, even before a sanction can be considered. Doesn't this show that the very framework that the United Nations uses in decision making is geared towards the achievement and maintenance of the values of integrity and transparency, and that this is done without effective sanctions being in place? Let's avoid the blame game. We are not here to discuss whether the one or two miscreants of today's world deserve to be sanctioned for their crimes or not. We are here to discuss that without sanctions, the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained. And as my teammate pointed out, frameworks to accomplish this are already in place, irrespective of the prejudices of sanctions. Ladies and gentlemen, do you believe that if you or I awake tomorrow to a society absent of sanctions, that we will be unable to tell the difference between what is right and what is wrong, or act in the face of injustice? The ability to embody values such as transparency and integrity is part of our internal psyche. We learn these values throughout our lives. The absence of effective sanctions, regardless of what my opponents may believe, does not mean that a person is unable to achieve the values of integrity and transparency. Our Integrity Commission preaches there is no right way to do the wrong thing. Integrity and transparency do not operate within the shade of gray. You either choose to do right or to do wrong. A sanction forces the individual or entity to act in accordance with the will of the one issuing the sanction. Why do you think the U.S. sanction against the Cuban regime failed in this respect? The Cuban values and belief systems were founded in the principles of communism. Did a sanction change that? Sanctions result in changes of actions, not in changes of values. The values of transparency and integrity can be accomplished in the face of without effective sanctions. How therefore do we maintain these values of integrity and transparency without effective sanctions? I'll take you on. We can accomplish this by not putting the carriage before the horse. We must recognize that the framework to aware that these values are intrinsic in nature and that the ability to affect integrity and transparency does not depend on effective sanctions. Rather, it is the lack of integrity and transparency that gives rise to the application of sanctions. We must commit to continue to use the existing frameworks my team discussed to foster integrity and transparency values in every sphere of our society. From the ground level through social outreach programs, at the school level with programs such as the Do It Right Always campaign, in our government by using these frameworks to ensure our leaders are of a certain caliber, and in our businesses by reinforcing a climate of trust and accountability where, like in the past, a man's handshake was as good as his word. It's not the presence of effective sanctions that leads to the values of integrity and transparency. It is the people using the frameworks that give rise to the values of integrity and transparency.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moderator, educators, those in team, the viewing members. We are a sanction-based society. The way we raise our children, the way we run our homes, our schools, even our parliament. But a sanction does not promote one thing. Sending a child to bed early for bad behavior is a sanction. Being demoted on work for insubordination is a sanction. Being ostracized by religious groups and friends for unbecoming behavior is a sanction. Sanctions vary with what the circumstances require, and they usually facilitate conformity to a norm. A norm predetermined either by the majority or by the persons with authority to impose said sanctions. So when my colleagues come here and talk about transparency and integrity being achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions, I wonder if they know what a sanction is. Because they are not taking into consideration childhood sanctions, which along with moral and ethical upbringing allows a child to determine the difference between right and wrong. That child then grows up as a man and a woman or a woman that is able to determine honesty and discipline and accountability, and is able to self-regulate in social settings due in part to those childhood sanctions.
Okay, great. When we think of the values of integrity and transparency being achieved and maintained, on this side, we look at the glass half full. Doesn't it appear that you're looking at the glass half empty, really?
Well, you alluded to the fact that you are looking at frameworks. Frameworks require people. People develop intelligence and therefore, when they point to countries like Denmark, and when they point to different situations and they come and they defend the motion, they're actually not looking at the rules and penalties that exist in our schools, our homes, our religious institutions, and in our ecological environment that make us who we are. They are being narrow. Now, countries that, according to the Corruption Perception Index, that have been deemed to have the highest levels of integrity and transparency, have achieved this not only through socio-cultural measures, but through the use of effective sanctions. Such countries include Netherlands and Norway. Now, Netherlands have a score of 87 out of 100 on the Corruption Perception Index, and a rank of 5th. And this has been attributed in part to the Dutch penal system, which makes it illegal to give or receive a bribe, both in the public and private sector. In fact, Dutch and foreign companies and their subsidiaries can be held liable for acts of corruption committed by persons acting on their behalf, and they can be sanctioned up to 10% of their turnover. According to N. Helen, in public corruption and law enforcement in the Netherlands, in 9 out of 10 cases where they are where there is corruption. Indeed, sanctions are applied and they are effective. Now, when we turn to Norway is tied with the Netherlands in the Corruption Perception Index at the position of 5th and with a score of 87th of 100. And they have the highest level of business transparency. The Norwegian Penal Code criminalizes both active and passive bribery, fraud, extortion, money laundering. And it is known not only as being effective and efficient, but they are strong enforcers and no recorded cases of official impunity. The Norwegian Economic Crime Fighting Unit is known to be prosecuting matters not only in Norway, but outside of their territories. So these are two countries that are considered high in integrity and transparency, and they have achieved this with effective sanctions. Now, international conventions, while acknowledging the need for sociocultural measures and education and awareness creation, have fully endorsed the use of effective sanctions. When we look at Article 30, Subarticle 1 of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, it said that state parties shall make the commission of an offense established in accordance with the convention liable to sanctions that reflect the gravity of those offenses. When we look at Article 7 of the Inter-American Convention Against Corruption, it said that state parties shall adopt, if they have yet not done so, legislative and other measures in their respective territories to criminalize acts of corruption. When we look at the OECD Anti-Bribery Convention, Article 3, Subarticle 4, it said that state parties shall consider the imposition of additional civil and administrative sanctions on persons already found liable to sanction for bribing foreign public officials. So we see clearly that international conventions have wholeheartedly, the international community have wholeheartedly endorsed the use of effective sanctions. Now, there has been a breakdown in our society and a rise of impunity, which has made it almost impossible for integrity and transparency to be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. When we see a senior counsel could be gunned down on our way home, when we have 5 members of parliament in breach of parliamentary rules, in the hiring practices in their constituencies, and when you ask them questions, they respond is, who changed the rule? When we have intellectual movers say they call that Section 34 life sport, and we know nothing about the prosecution and we hear nothing about any convictions. And we compare it to countries like the United States, where a prominent financier, Alan Stanford, is in 110 years for fraud, when anyone CEO, Jeffrey Skilling, is in 24 years and 4 months for fraud and conspiracy. Obviously, in Trinidad and Tobago, impunity reigns. To use the words of senior counsel Martin Day, where he said, having given dangerous latitude to public officials. And then, is the relentless undermining of the willingness of our people to support social order and discipline. Therefore, we say we have a solid case that integrity and transparency cannot be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. And certainly not in this country where impunity is. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, while my opponents focused on sanctions as penalties for breaking rules, they have neglected to see how the achievement and maintenance of the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained. My teammate and I have both had our minds open during the preparation for this debate. It has provided us with a deeper appreciation of our responsibility towards the achievement and maintenance of the values of integrity and transparency. And I'll give you an example. In my work life, I have been exposed to many types of training and learning opportunities at almost all of the companies I work within. How many of us have had ethics training aimed at reinforcing and re-emphasizing the values of integrity made official. We were not told that we could not say anything. We were not given confidentiality agreements to sign. And yet, there were no leaks, no whispers on the streets, no news in the media. Instead, we stood tall and proud and brought a new identity to the world. I am evidence of the fact that integrity and transparency can be maintained without sanctions. In the future, when historians look at our beloved Twin Island, let it not be said that we were slaves to sanctions for good governance. The values of integrity and transparency cannot be changed by such opinions. We, the CTS debate team, are proud to affirm the notion that the values of integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions.
Bring back the old-time days. Bring back those old-time days. I know everything must change, but I still love the old-time days. Used to be that everyone could afford to live right. Just to feel nice, you didn't need the paradise. Used to be that everyone cared about each other, lived like brothers, respected one another. Bring back the old-time days. Bring back those old-time days. I know everything must change, but I still love those old days. We've resolved that could never be true, that integrity and transparency can be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. We have spent the last 30 minutes demonstrating to you that in the absence of effective sanctions in Trinidad and Tobago, integrity and transparency have not been enough to protect the public goods. We have shown countries at the highest levels of integrity and transparency, and we have shown you where they have not effective sanctions. We have illustrated that international conventions have endorsed the use of effective sanctions, and we have spoken down about the broken down systems in our society and our prevalence of impunity that makes it difficult for integrity and transparency to be achieved and maintained in the absence of effective sanctions. In contrast, which must fluff and fanfare, our colleagues on the other side have put forward one argument, that we have socio-cultural measures in the form of integrity frameworks. And while we do agree with them, because it is a good argument, we are saying that is not enough. We are saying that they have ignored international conventions. They have self-servingly adopted a narrow perspective of what a sanction is. And look, whatever approach you want to use, whether it's socio-cultural versus legalistic, religious versus secular, sanction versus incentive, we are saying this. Whatever cocktail you come up with to maintain integrity and transparency, effective sanctioning must be part of that mix. Because we say integrity and transparency can be achieved in the absence of effective sanctions is naive. And as much as you want to say we are all guided by our conscience, that is a perfect rule in which we don't exist. So, and as much as we pray for those old-time ways, if we adopt the arguments of the opponent, we'll be failing to acknowledge that as a people, we have changed. I thank you.